Hi guys, hopefully you don't hear too much background noise, hopefully the fridge stays quiet, but my partner's got a game downloading on the PlayStation, so you might hear like bloops and bleeps and stuff as people come online and that, and he's got music in the bathroom. Told him to turn down a little bit, so hopefully you can't hear that. But anyway, I'm here to do my January, February, March TV wrap up. I've done a few separate reviews for some of the shows that I'm here to mention today. That didn't make much sense, but you know what I mean. So I'll link them when they're needed for context. So let's just get cracking. So we started, of course, in January. The first thing I watched was The Witcher season 1, which I gave 4 stars. I've actually got a separate review. I did a review with this, October Faction and Dracula. So I'll link that. It's like recent monster TV shows that I've watched of late. So I will link that for you guys if you're interested. And then we have Apple and Onion season 2, which I gave 5 stars. So Apple and Onion is a cartoon show on Cartoon Network, and I feel like I'm doing a bit wonky. And it's just literally about an apple and an onion having day-to-day life randomness. So this one I said I gave 5 stars. I went to check out the newer episodes kind of in order, and I ended up watching so much, including whatever was recorded from like the older series as well. I absolutely adore this show so much. It's hilarious. I love the songs, the kind of humour that is in it is just my kind of humour. The episode called Burger's Trampoline had me thinking of the Mighty Boosh song, Bouncy Bouncy, if any of you have watched Mighty Boosh before. And I was totally waiting for a nod to that. And Fun Proof, another episode as well, was really cool. It kind of told you the message of not to kind of get caught up in like the likes and everything of social media. And in this case particularly, it was like literal people clapping when you're having fun in pictures. So that was an interesting kind of take on it. What are you doing? Naked.
Video.
Naked. So I watched another relatively new at the time anyway of watching this show on Cartoon Network called Victor and Valentino, which I gave 3 stars. This was season 1. So this is something I actually had recorded for ages, but I finally checked it out. I believe the two are brothers and they're getting up to just random fun and crazy adventures. I enjoy it, but it's one of those shows that could definitely was kind of over the top and obnoxious. And then as what I kind of predicted, I sort of stopped paying too much attention to it after a while, and I've not watched it since, to be honest. The intro though kind of gave me Gravity Falls vibes, which has kind of made me want to watch Gravity Falls again. Then I watched season 1 of Stranger Things, which I gave 3.5 stars. So it took me ages to watch this just because honestly the scariest scenes were kind of disturbing when I was on my own, but I really enjoyed it, and I will definitely, as I am, continue on with the other seasons. Then I tried to get through some of the new releases that were coming out during like Christmas time and sort of new releases for January. One of them was the BBC A Christmas Carol. Someone had asked me, they probably don't care now, so I'm sorry it took so long to get to this, but someone asked me to watch this and do like a review, but I said I'd probably mention it just in like one of these wrap-ups. And it's the BBC A Christmas Carol, the 2019 one, which I gave 4 stars. So this is one of those shows adaptations that have been done so many times, but the characters I find have been redone with attitude, and I absolutely loved it. It's quite dark and creepy and gruesome as well, so it does take more of the bleak Dickensian time that you'd imagine, but it kind of still felt a little bit modern with how it was presented, like it captured a modern audience. I really loved Marley's story, and I just think it overall was a fantastic version actually. It felt fresh and completely new while staying true to the original story, which was pretty cool. So yes, I'm sorry, I forget your name, but I got to it, I enjoyed it. I'm sorry I don't have so much more to say about it, but it was a good series. And as I said, I've already got a review for the BBC Dracula, but I gave that 4 stars. Going into February now, starting with something else that, as I mentioned, I've already got a review for, and that was October Faction season 1, which I gave 4 stars. So again, that's all the monster shows that I was watching that I did like a compilation review video for those 3 together. I get a little bit confused because I've got another review for Stranger Things, so I don't know why. I'm pretty sure I'm on, am I on season 3? I might be on season 3, but I've written here season 1 again. and I'm giving it a 3 stars this time. So I don't know if that was supposed to be my original review, but I accidentally didn't like pay attention to when I actually finished it. But anyway, I mentioned this when I bought the Stranger Things book a little while ago now, but everyone says it's one of those shows that's like a Jen show, it's a me show, and that oddly made me feel kind of pressured that I wouldn't like it, which is strange. So it took me ages to watch through the first season. I think, as I mentioned already, it's because I was pretty scared of some of the scenes, to be honest, but I also think it's because there was honestly other things I wanted to watch as well. Despite that, I think it's definitely something I would enjoy even more in the long term, which I have been doing of late. Again, I needed time to kind of get into it a little bit more and connect to the characters further still, because I found that in the beginning season, whilst I was in the episode and whilst I was enjoying it, it's just finding the oomph to kind of get back to it once I've stopped watching it for a bit and get back into the rhythm of it. But once I'm in there, I'm enjoying what I'm watching. I finished season 3 of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which I gave 4 stars. I had my doubts about this season after the big finale of the sort of main plot in season 2, but it was really, really good. I'm glad it didn't feel as I feared it would, kind of episodic and fillery. In my opinion, it felt not like that. It had me actually tearing up at some really powerful scenes. It's just the general like witchy, womanly power and strength just got to me and made me a bit emotional. But yeah, I did enjoy that season. I finally finished the originals, season 1. Which I gave a 3.5 stars. So just like the Vampire Diaries, this first season literally took me years to finish, just 1 season. So I started this on the 10th of the 11th, 2018, and I finished it on the 20th of the 2nd, 2020. Literal years. In saying that, I swear I already saw the last few episodes and just forgot to mention it and talk about it in a wrap up. So I may have finished it like a couple of months earlier, because as I was watching it I was like, oh, I swear I've seen these scenes already. But anyway, I'll make it brief. I loved the original vampires when they debuted in Vampire Diaries back when I was watching that, and even though it did take me a while, I'm glad to have watched this series, and particularly because I feel like it really humanises them just that bit more. They're not just these, well, they are kind of maniac killers, but they've got like depth to them and that sort of stuff. Also, fun note, it only just clicked when I was watching this, the final episodes particularly, that Diego is Malcolm from Jessica Jones. I didn't know why it was like, it blew me away so much. I was like, oh boy, this guy really looks familiar. And then all of a sudden I was like, hold on a minute. Anyway, moving on to March. Got a couple of special mentions that I usually mention at the end, but I have one at the very top here, that I watched the special episode of The Amazing World of Gumball, which was Darwin's yearbook. And I swear I've seen bits concerning like the Banana Joe bit, like the gym scene before, and then I realised it's because it's basically a best bits show, like a best of compilation. It was a great episode though. I really like the kind of in-between conversations and stuff, and it's cool to have like a main theme or focus, so I did enjoy it. So on to the actual main bulk. Liar season 1, 5 stars. I rewatched it in preparation for the new season that finally came out in March actually, and I loved it just as much the second time round, if not more actually. It's just a bit bittersweet because it was a show that me and my mum really loved, and we kept wanting like a new season of it, but she passed away just before the announcement of all this was happening. So it was like I saw it and I was like, yay, and you know, you're instantly going to be like, oh, I wonder if they've seen the advert for it, and then you kind of pull yourself out of it and you remember, you're like, oh, never mind. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I have a full review of this on my channel, so if I do, I'll link it in the cards. If not, sorry, that was a lie. Get it? Liar. I didn't mean to be that awkward and cringy, but you know. We finished up The Legend of Korra Book 1 Air, which I gave 5 stars. I will say so basically The Legend of Korra is a continuation of the Last Airbender TV series, and it's following a different avatar now, and you learn about what happened kind of in the space between the end of the show. Some of the voice acting didn't match up with the characters. It was a bit shocking to see like that voice come out of that character. The sport in this was absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed that, and I don't really go into shows for the sport factor, but I really was quite enchanted by the particular sport in this. I don't like Aang's son, I think he's Tenzin, his wife. I really don't like her. She's too flat. But onto the actual points, this show, or this season particularly, was so engaging, way more intense than I was expecting. I was shouting out so much, and my butt has never been so tight. It's like I was levitating with how much tension I was feeling during this show. The emotion was so incredibly high in this one, and the stakes were high too. The scenes were executed fantastically, and I don't know why I didn't watch this sooner, because when it first came out I was super excited, because The Legend of The Last Airbender, Aang, was one of my favourite things. Like growing up, I used to watch it on Nickelodeon, like late at night. I'd stay up and watch it in the evenings, and I adored the crap out of that show. And so when they announced this, I was like, yes, yes, yes. And I remember one time when it first aired, I think I put on the first episode and I didn't get through it for some reason, and I just never went back to it in the end. I don't know if I had that kind of fear that it wouldn't be as good, or I was like, oh, it's not the same, why do they have to keep, you know, spoiling the name of the originals? But at the same time I wanted that extra content, so I'm really glad that I did come back to this, because I really did enjoy it. And then following on, I went on to season 2, which was book 2, Spirit, which I gave a 4 stars. So I loved the first episode, learning about the first bender in the whole of the world. I found that they built a really fantastic mythology within that episode. That story kind of furthered the plot development in this season, which was done amazingly so. Following on immediately after, I've been watching Legend of Korra, as you can tell, I finished book 3, which was volume 3, and it's called Change, and that one got a 4 stars as well. This season is definitely, I gotta say, so far the darkest season. Everything got super dark. There were times honestly where I felt like I had to take a break from the show, because I found that the emotional impact was just that too much for me to withstand, basically. A lot of character dynamics of this season were just on a whole other level. It was a really good season, but just a lot draining. And then I got some special mentions. I was really obsessed with Yummy Mummies. I think I watched that throughout the whole of January. It's basically a group of Australian mums and mums-to-bees. I finished both of the seasons and was addicted. They're less bitchy than the Housewives of blah blah blah, which funny enough I had a dream about Housewives of Atlanta or something. It was really strange, and it definitely feels more staged, but it's just so Moorish. I can't stand the one from Adelaide though, I can't remember her name. I think she was called Maria maybe. And I wasn't keen on the voiceover narration of the second season, and I would have liked more definition of the time span, because sometimes they have these episodes and it felt like so much time had passed, and I was like, don't these girls see each other on a more regular basis? And they're acting like they haven't seen each other in ages, but the last episode they were just hanging out. So I was very confused with that. I don't think it's returning though, because they had some backlash. I also devoured a few of the early seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race. Absolutely obsessed with that now. I hope we get, whilst they're showing in the competition, I hope we get a little bit more of their life outside of during competition times, more sort of like Big Brother, like what they're doing in their spare time and stuff. We sort of saw a little bit more of that in I think the second season, where you kind of see them waking up in that. I'd like more to see if they actually have friendships and alliances and stuff. So I don't know if the other seasons end up developing on that, or if it's strictly just about the fashion and the drag and stuff. And then lastly, a special mention for Love is Blind. Please check it out, it is a really good show. And that is it for this. I think this is almost the same amount of time that I spent doing my last wrap up and I sit down one. So yeah, let me know what TV shows you've been watching over the last couple of months, and if you'd recommend anything to me. We've recently got Disney Plus as well, and I think I want to check out some more of their original shows that I missed out on. And if you're on Netflix, let me know, and I'll speak to you in another video soon. Bye.